Okay, picture this scenario. It's that time of year you've been waiting for.
Holiday mode.
Totally. The spreadsheets are closed, the out of office is live, you are officially on vacation, bags are packed, itinerary is set, and then boom.
Something always goes wrong.
Always. The universe just throws a wrench in the gears. Maybe your furnace dies in a freeze, or you twist your ankle, or the classic, your car just completely betrays you.
It's like the law of the worst possible timing.
Yeah.
It never happens on a random Tuesday when you've got nothing going on.
Yeah.
It always feels personal.
So personal. And, you know, my reaction in that moment is not, let's just say, it's not very dignified.
Oh, I can imagine.
I'm talking stress, anger, maybe yelling at the sky a little bit. But today we're doing a deep dive into some sources that suggest a radically different way to handle those moments.
And not just those moments, but how we view human value in general.
Exactly. It's a fascinating pivot.
It really is.
Yeah.
So we're looking at notes from a prayer meeting at Beipu Church, held on January 20, 2026. And this is all based on a sermon by Pastor Hu Zijiang called Lord's Love Preserves All.
And our mission for this deep dive is, I think, pretty cool. We're going to take a modern story about some serious holiday bad luck.
I mean, car breaking down at midnight, bad luck.
Right. And we're going to map it onto a narrative from the Gospel of Matthew. We'll see how a broken-down Mercedes in Taiwan and a man with a withered hand in an ancient synagogue can teach us the same thing about rules, superstition, and what actually matters.
It connects two very different worlds, doesn't it? You have this modern anxiety about, bad luck versus the ancient, rigid world of religious law.
Yeah.
But they both end up pointing to the same thing,
Which is...
a desperate need for compassion.
I love that. Okay, let's dive in. Let's start with the modern side of this. The source opens with a concept that, well, anyone familiar with Lunar New Year culture will get this immediately. The fear of touching bad luck.
Right, the source uses the term Chumei-tu. In the context of the Lunar New Year, this is huge. For a lot of people, even non-believers, as the source points out, how the new year starts is how the whole year will go.
It's predictive.
It's totally predictive. So if things go smoothly, great year ahead. But if you touch bad luck, break a bowl, get sick, have an accident, it's not just an annoyance, it's an omen.
It's a sign that the whole year is basically cursed. The stakes are so high psychologically, it's not just, oh, my car broke down. It's, my car broke down, therefore my entire life is about to unravel.
And that is the perfect backdrop for Pastor Hu's personal story from the 2014 Lunar New Year.
And honestly, reading this, it sounds like a test of patience that would just break anyone.
Okay, let's walk through the timeline because it really is a horror show.
It's one thing after another. So, Incident 1, it's the 5th day of the new year.
He's in Hualien City. It's 11:00 p.m.
11 at night, he's just about to leave, and his Mercedes just dies.
Oof, 11 p.m. in a different city. That's the definition of being stranded. Everything's closed, and it's a Mercedes. Right. Which means it's not a cheap fix. You can't just, tinker with it.
No duct tape is fixing that.
Exactly. Complex electronics, expensive parts.
Yeah.
And it's the Lunar New Year, so good luck finding a mechanic. You are just stuck.
And just when you think, okay, that's my bad luck for the year, got it out of the way.
Oop.
The source mentions incident number 2. This is on the final day of the same trip. He's in Taipei driving his gospel car, and bam, a severe tire blowout.
2 major car failures in one holiday week. If you're operating with that Chumei-tu mindset, you'd be absolutely convinced the universe is out to get you.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be afraid to plug in my toaster. But this is where the source makes a really crucial turn. The pastor's reaction wasn't fear or despair.
It wasn't, why me?
No.
Yeah.
The source says his response was one of entrustment and thanksgiving in his daily prayer. He completely reframed it. Instead of bad luck, he focused on the theme that the Lord's love preserves every matter.
So it's a shift from fearing the chaos of the world to trusting that even in the breakdown, there's some kind of preservation going on.
Right, like maybe the Mercedes breaking down at 11 p.m. prevented him from being on the highway at 11:30 when something worse might have happened.
That is a tough mindset to hold on to when you're on the side of the road at midnight.
It really is. But it's this refusal to let superstition control your emotions.
And that idea of care versus rigid rules is the perfect bridge to the ancient text the sermon dives into.
It really is. So let's transition. We're going from the highway in Hualien to a synagogue in the 1st century. We're in Matthew chapter 12.
So set the scene for us.
Okay, so Jesus enters a synagogue. And the key piece of context here is that it's the Sabbath, the day of rest. But we have to be clear, the Sabbath back then wasn't just, take a nap.
No, it was a day defined by what you could not do. The definition of work was incredibly strict. There were endless debates about how far you could walk, what you could carry. The religious leaders, the Pharisees, had built this huge fence of rules around the law.
And into this high-stakes environment, we see a man with a withered hand, and of course the religious leaders are there watching Jesus like hawks.
The source describes it as a trap. They ask him a question.
Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath?
Which sounds like a reasonable question on the surface.
Yeah, like a point of clarification, just checking the rule book, Professor.
But the source is so explicit about their motive. It says they asked so that they might accuse him. They didn't care about the answer. They wanted a reason to arrest him.
It's the classic gotcha moment. If he says yes, he's a heretic breaking the Sabbath. If he says no...
He looks like a hypocrite who doesn't care about this suffering man right in front of him. It's a setup.
I hate those moments when someone asks you a question but they're not listening, they're just loading a weapon.
So how does he handle it? This is where it gets so interesting.
He doesn't answer with a yes or a no. He pivots.
He answers their question with another question, an analogy. He asks them, "Who among you, having a sheep that falls into a pit on the Sabbath, will not take hold of it and lift it out?"
Okay, let's pause there. A sheep in a pit. Why that specific image?
Well, it's brilliant, because it appeals directly to their self-interest. A sheep isn't just a fluffy animal, it's property. It's an economic asset.
It's wool, meat, income.
Exactly. And if your asset falls into a pit, even on the Sabbath, there were often rabbinical loopholes that let you save your property from a major financial loss. You wouldn't just let your investment die down there.
So he's saying, like, I know you guys. I know if your money was on the line, you'd find a way to pull that sheep out.
He is totally exposing their hypocrisy. They'd bend the rules for a sheep because it hits them in the wallet, and then he just drops the hammer. The source highlights this valuation argument he makes. How much more valuable is a man than a sheep?
Boom. That's the mic drop.
It just corners them. If you work to save an animal because it costs you money, how can you possibly argue against healing a human being? The logic is just undeniable.
And his conclusion in the text is so simple and clear. Therefore, it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. He just reframes the whole point of the law. It's not about restriction, it's about doing good.
And then he doesn't just say it, he does it. He turns to the man who's been standing there this whole time and says, "Stretch out your hand."
And the source says, it was restored whole, just like the other one.
Can you imagine the silence in that room?
Talk about an awkward moment for the Pharisees. He just proved them wrong logically and then performed a miracle. You'd think they'd be impressed.
You would think. But this leads us to what the source calls the paradox of the sacred. Or, as Pastor Hughes Notes put it, a bewildering historical record.
Bewildering is the perfect word, because their reaction makes absolutely no sense from a compassionate human point of view.
So let's look at the first paradox the source brings up. The paradox of space.
Okay.
The synagogue is supposed to be a sacred space, the house of God. It should be a place of prayer, of safety, of holiness.
But the source notes it was filled with unholy people.
Exactly. The Pharisees, who are in this holy place, actively plotting a conspiracy. Think about that irony. Inside the holy building, while a man is being healed, the supposedly holy men are plotting to destroy the healer.
The space doesn't match the action.
Not at all. And then there's the paradox of time. The Sabbath. It's meant to be a blessed day, a day of rest and life.
But instead, it became a battleground over whether you can or cannot save. It became a source of conflict instead of peace.
It just shows how rigid rule-keeping can completely destroy the very thing the rule was designed to protect.
The Sabbath was for human flourishing, and they were using it to stop a man from being healed.
And this all leads to the dark turn in verse 14. After the healing, the Pharisees went out and plotted how they might destroy Jesus.
Destroy, that's a strong word. Not just debate him, kill him.
That escalates quickly.
It really does. You heal a hand, they want to take your life. So Jesus is in real danger now. What does he do? Does he fight back?
This is where we get to the heart of our deep dive today, the compassion of Christ. His reaction, the source notes, was to withdraw.
He just left.
He left. He didn't escalate, he didn't quarrel. But then this is key. The crowds followed him. And the source says he healed them all. But he warned them not to make him known.
That part always seems a bit strange to me, the whole don't tell anyone thing. The source connects this to a prophecy, right?
It does. The text quotes the prophet Isaiah to explain why Jesus acted this way. It describes God's chosen servant. And the descriptions are fascinating. My beloved, he will not quarrel or cry out, You won't hear his voice in the streets.
So he's not a rabble-rouser. He's not trying to start a political revolution in the town square.
No, he is something else entirely. And the source unpacks two specific metaphors from that Isaiah passage that are just beautiful.
Okay.
A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not quench.
I love that imagery, but let's make sure we really get it. What exactly is a bruised reed?
So a reed was a common plant by the riverbanks, but it's fragile. If it gets bruised or cracked, it's useless. You can't make a flute from it. It won't hold any weight. The normal reaction is to just snap it off and throw it away.
It's trash.
It's trash and a smoldering wick.
I'm picturing an old oil lamp.
Exactly. The flame is out, the oil is low, and it's just smoking, stinking up the room. It's not giving light anymore. It's just an annoyance. The logical thing to do is to just snuff it out.
So both of these metaphors describe something that's damaged or useless or annoying, something that normally we would just discard.
Precisely. But the prophecy says, he will not break the bruised reed. He will not snuff out the smoldering wick. It's this profound statement about how he views the weak and the damaged.
That is so powerful. The Pharisees saw the man with the withered hand as a prop, a bruised reed, but Jesus saw him as valuable.
And if we bring this all the way back to the bad luck story at the beginning.
The broken Mercedes.
Right. Think about it. A car breaks down. It's useless in that moment, a bruised reed of a machine. Our instinct is anger. We want to kick the tire. But the pastor's response was to find the grace in it, to see that Lord's love preserves.
And in the Bible story, the Pharisees wanted to break Jesus because he didn't fit their system. They wanted to snuff him out. But Jesus' response to the broken man and to the whole broken world was gentleness.
And the source points out that this gentleness isn't weakness. The text says he does all this until he brings justice to victory. That's a key insight. True justice, in this view, doesn't come from crushing your enemies.
Or from rigidly enforcing rules.
Right. It comes through mercy.
Yeah.
It comes through refusing to give up on the people and the things that look like they're finished.
Bringing justice to victory, that sounds so big, but when you boil it down to the guy with the withered hand, it just means giving him his life back.
It's lifting the sheep out of the pit. It is restoring what was broken, not discarding it.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for us? For someone listening to this, maybe dealing with their own bad luck?
I think the source is asking us to look at two things. First, how do we handle our own misfortunes? Are they just bad luck, or are they opportunities to trust? And second, how do we view the rules versus the people in our lives?
Yeah. It's so easy to be a Pharisee, isn't it? To care more about the policy or the procedure or the bottom line than the person standing right in front of you.
It's efficient. Dealing with bruised reeds, people who are hurting or struggling or who aren't productive, that's messy. It takes patience not to just snap them off.
But the source suggests that's exactly where the sacredness of life is found. Not in the perfect synagogue, but in the act of healing the withered hand.
It really flips the script on what success looks like. It's not about having the perfect car that never breaks down. It's about tenderness toward the weak.
And realizing that at some point, we are all the bruised reed. We all have the withered hand, and we want to be met with that compassion, not with judgment.
We are all the sheep in the pit.
Yeah, we are. And we're worth more than the rule book says.
That's the core of it.
Well, this has been a fascinating journey from 2026 Beipu back to the 1st century, broken cars, trapped sheep, and the surprising gentleness of the servant.
It's a dense text, but the through line is so clear.
Yeah.
Doing good and the value of a person's life.
Yeah.
It just supersedes everything else.
So here is a final thought for you to carry with you. We live in a world that is obsessed with optimization. If something is broken, you replace it. If someone isn't performing, you cut them loose. We're constantly tempted to break the bruised reed.
To snuff out the smoldering wick, because honestly, it's easier. But the challenge from this deep dive is this. What would it look like in your life today to adopt the mindset that refuses to give up on the damaged or the weak?
Who is the bruised reed in your orbit that maybe needs gentleness instead of judgment?
And are you willing to jump into the pit to lift them out, even when it's inconvenient?
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
See you next time.